So a matrix basically shows two different variables. Um, Really, what's the low high between different areas, which you're getting four squares, and you can highlight, different projects, different solutions, different times to implement. You can be a variety of different things, but the ultimate thing is allowing someone to pick how much they want to do something and what's the expected outcome they're going to receive. So a good examples could be implementation cost versus revenue. You know, having a surgical center is going to cost a lot more and take a lot more time, but you're going to generally have higher revenues longer. Another one could be ease of implementation versus impact. Maybe using an app on your iPhone, or Android, is a lot easier than installing a new software system like SAP. So that may be an option for a company to do. So by giving people the ability to bucket different options, you're allowing them to pick what they want and then, go forward with a potential buying of a product or service from you. You see this a lot in services, but I also think it's very important in products because you could also say, right now you may want to focus on our simple line product. It's not the bells and whistles, but it will cover 80%. But until you buy our capital equipment, that'll hit your highest revenue. So you may say, start with a simple product first, but then go with our capital equipment in a year because that's when the product will be ready, and you can be installed and everything's ready to go. So by showing different options, you're letting them pick without being forced into a go or a yes or a no decision. I just and behind the scenes, this is how you build this out. You can work with them. This is an example of one company I worked with, but a lot of different projects here. We can kind of see what's they're currently spending. How do we work with the number of vendors they have? And then we can do different. We can create a scorecard to say what's the cost, the change, the impact as you drive out changes in the organization. So in this example, these three activities are very different. Patient satisfaction, which is basically a form, is very different than an infusion pump, which is a capital piece of equipment. But they all have different weightings. Some things are less change where I'm less impacting the clinicians, so I could probably do them without them noticing. But if you're changing OR surgery rooms, that's a huge impact. So you may have to have a lot more change management in that example. Another way you could look at this is, you could do it on reputation. Examples could be cost of manufacturing. There's a variety of different ways, but by showing a scorecard and letting people put a scorecard together, they can then determine what's the opportunities and which ones they should do. I find that this is a longer part of the sales cycle, but when you get into more service-based things, it helps people pick what they want and help them plan for the future.
So the importance of using a matrix like this is that you essentially then have the opportunity to understand what is a value add in terms of your customer's desired outcome, right? So maybe they want more revenue. So the example that Matt gave in the video is that if you build a surgical center, the implementation cost is high, right? So if you had your pain in the ass over here, right? So it is a pain in the ass for the implementation to be high. What is the trade-off that you essentially get? What is the benefit that you get for that particular trade-off? So for tolerating a high implementation cost, a hospital will have a higher revenue yield from a surgical center. Definitely more than an urgent care facility, definitely more than setting up a fracture clinic or a GP rooms, etc. kind of thing. So when you pick those two, start thinking about what is your UVP, because that's usually addressing a pain in the ass, pardon for swearing, but that's essentially what it is, versus the desired outcome and benefit. Okay, so have a go at this. There's no right or wrong. What there is customer feedback. And what you're trying to do is essentially take what you have, draw a line in the sand, and chunk downwards as to what you can actually offer to people. Don't try to like create a whole new product. Don't try to create new feature set. Try to crystallize revenue now, right? And you will find gems are already in what you do.